just because it goes faster when I do that. And okay. So let me know if you can't see my screen, but I just want to kind of draw your attention to the warm-up down here that I've graded. So some of you, I have 16 people that haven't turned them in, and that's the only thing in Power School right now. So it's really causing an issue with you, showing passing right now. And that's a silly assignment to have as an E. So if you could just it's only, I think it was 6 points because we only had 3. And you need to get those in so I can change that E to something a little bit more nice to look at, I guess. All right.
Where can I find those so I can make that up?
Say that what?
Said, where can I find those so I can make that up?
Oh, just right here. I'm looking at it right here. So this is where they are. And you just have to go to this document, pull up a Google Doc, fill it, answer the questions in complete sentences, and bada boom, bada bing, turn it in.
All right, thank you.
You are welcome. All right. So I'm going to scroll back up here. So journal questions I just assigned, so we'll be talking about those today. And then the Sheila story, remember we worked on that for the last 2 or 3 class periods, and we did it all together. So you should be able to turn it all in as long as you participated as we were doing it and going through it. So please try to get that in today so that we can get that taken care of as well. It's not in Power School, but I'm going to be putting it in, so better have it done. All right, so let's go to the warm-up. And we need to get to our Wednesday, Thursday, so let me get to that and open it up for you. Okay, so as soon as it starts. So what is the first signs that a pregnancy has occurred? So what I'm trying to say is, how does a female know that she's pregnant? Okay, what's one of the first things that she's going to notice? All right, so here we go. In 3, 2, 1, start. Got about a minute left. Try to finish up. Remember, if I was writing this, I would say one of the first signs that pregnancy has occurred is blah, 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 period. Okay, don't forget your capital. That's how easy it is. Just put some of the question in your answer, make a capital, put a period at the end. Very simple. But remember, if you don't do those things, then you don't get credit for it, and that's silly. It's a very simple thing that we all do every single day on multiple assignments. So make sure that you are doing it in your warm-up as well. 30 seconds.
What if it's taking forever to load?
Say what?
I said, what if it's taking forever to load?
The warm-up?
Yeah.
Are you just opening a Google Doc and writing? Because my I mean, the document is on the screen, so all you have to do is open a Google Doc and answer the question.
I did open it. It's taking forever to load, so I couldn't type in it.
Uh-oh. Well, they're always on Google Classroom, so you can do it anytime. They're always there for you. Sound good? Okay. So, the last time we met, we were doing Sheila's story. It was a decision-making model that we were running through, a decision that she needed to make. And with any decision you make, there should always be a process. Not that I think you're going to sit down and get a piece of paper and be like, okay, the problem is, these are all my alternatives. But to know that you should be running your problems or situations through some type of model in your head, because it's always a good idea to be able to really specify what's bothering you and then what are some options you have to try to solve the problem. And, you know, some people do write out things, pros and cons. Like I've done that throughout my life of if I make this decision, what's going to be good about it and what's going to be bad about it. You know, and at least I have taken a moment to think about it and not jump into something that, you know, is going to alter my life. I mean, those decisions really need time to really process through what your thoughts are and, you know, to be thinking about those pros and cons, you know. So as you maneuver through life, try to always process problems in a similar manner, you know. That would be helpful for you. So anyway, so we turned that assignment in last week. It's due today actually before class, so hopefully you got it done and turned in. So we're going to move on. I'm looking that your test is going to be next week sometime. It won't be Monday, so probably more than likely it'll be Wednesday. So just kind of know that that's up and coming, and it's on teen pregnancy. Okay. We've been doing a PowerPoint right along. So if you've just jumped back into the class for the new 9 weeks, you can always email me and I can try to get you caught up if you need something along those lines. Or you can always go back and look at my YouTube channels, which I might link to you anyway, just so that you have to do the work that we all have done instead of just giving you the work. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I just want you to think of these questions as I read them. It's kind of like a little quiz, but you don't need to write anything down, but just be thinking about how you would answer these questions if you were in fact given this type of quiz, okay? So the first question is to find out if you're ready to be a parent is, what are my goals for a future lifestyle? You know, do you want to have a job? Do you want to, you know, be in the home? You know, what does your future lifestyle look like? What plans do I have to meet those goals? So if I want to, you know, go to college and I want to get a job, you know, I have to have some goals now to figure out how to get there, you know. At what age do I expect to be self-supporting? That means that you are paying your own bills in your own way. You know, you're not relying on your parents for any type of support, that you are able to support yourself. And at what age will I be able to support a family? I think I was 27 years old when I had my first child. And, you know, we were both working at the time. So I felt that we were ready for that next step. But, you know, it doesn't always work out that way, you know. Number 4, what would my parents do if I had a baby? You know, be thinking about, you know, what if? And how would that play out, or what would that look like? Would they help support me? Would they say, you know, you made an adult decision, so welcome to the adult world, and now you need to start being an adult and supporting yourself because of the choices you've made? I don't, you know, everybody's going to respond to that differently. Where would I live if I had a baby? Would you live at home? Would you want to live at home? Would your parents have a say on how the baby is raised if they're being raised in their home? Am I willing to limit my social life to spend time at home with the baby? You know, we've talked about that many times where, you know, you can't just, you know, leave the baby and be like, you know, I'm going to be back in a half hour. I'll see you later. You know, you have to have childcare or somebody to look after that baby if you're going to leave, you know. Am I able to budget money to cover necessary expenses? You know, things are going to come up. that are unexpected and that you were not aware that you should pay or have, the money to be able to pay those bills, and those that, do you have money budgeted for that, for those emergency contingency plans? What are my career plans? How can I get the education I need? How would parenthood fit into these career plans? Are you gonna go to school and have a child? And what would that look like? And how would that work? Am I patient enough to deal with the noises and the confusion that a young child creates? Can I control my temper? Would I take my anger out on my child? So we always have, young adults that, not necessarily, I don't think anyone, well, I shouldn't say that. If nobody necessarily goes out to hurt a child. And, if you get frustrated, and there's always the shaken baby syndrome and things like that, where a baby really can be hurt and harmed, and the parents can, get in trouble, for child abuse or child neglect or things like that exist. So, you're not going to get involved in that until you're mature enough and old enough to handle those emotions. But as a teenager, sometimes we let our emotions ride or lead us, and that doesn't always bow well, and it could cause some trouble. Do I like let's see. Do I like babies and older children? Do children respond to me and follow my directions? Do I have a partner who is willing and able to share the responsibilities of parenthood? I've never been a single parent, and parenting with another partner is difficult, to say the least. So to be a single parent, it has to be twice as hard and twice as difficult. And I don't know, I can't speak to that, but I do know how difficult it is to have a partner and a parent at the same time. So I couldn't even imagine what it could possibly be like to be a single parent. I think I would be drowning or over my head, to say the least. Okay. So now I have some questions for you, and this is where that journal page comes in on the Google Classroom. So all you have to do is go to your journal in Google Classroom, and you can either do one of two things. You can open the document in Google Classroom and just write your answers on the page that looks just like this, or you can, some people might be keeping a journal, and so you're just going to add these 3 questions to the journal. You could do that, or you could just completely open a brand new Google Doc, title it the date of today, which is the 28th, and answer these questions. So the questions are, what are 2 health risks for teenage girls who become pregnant? So what are the health risks? Number 2.
Why can't we just write it on the doc?
You can. Yeah, that was one of the options. So yeah, Tanner, you can.
Just write it on here.
On the document in Google Classroom?
Yeah, just write on the questions for the journal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. What are 2 reasons for unwanted teenage pregnancies? And that's something that we talked about. So these are questions that we have discussed and should be in your notes. And number 3, how does the media mislead teenagers about sexual activity? So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. Please make sure you put a capital at the beginning, a complete sentence, and then a period at the end if you want credit. And then I'm going to check back with you in about 5 minutes. Okay. So I'll check back with you at 11:44, and we'll discuss what the answers to those questions are. So 11:44.
So we gotta make a Google Docs and write in it.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're gonna answer these questions in a Google Doc.
Okay. That's what I want to figure out.
Yep. So just go to your Google Drive, open a Google Doc. I would title it Questions for Journal 1028, and then I would just do 1, 2, 3, and I would answer the questions. Hopefully that makes sense. And don't turn them in quite yet because I want to get your answers and I don't want them to be gone so you can't talk to me about them. Okay, you got about 2 more minutes. Try to finish up if you can, please. One more minute, and then we're gonna I'm gonna want to hear your answers. Okay, so let's hear your answer to question number 1. What are 2 health risks for teenage girls who become pregnant? So what is some of the things we've talked about that they are at risk for? Anybody?
I said that when you have birth, your baby's more likely to not make it, like more likely to die if you're younger.
Okay.
Premature, maybe. Premature.
Yep.
Baby.
Exactly.
And probably stillbirth too.
Could, yep. So remember that the death rate of babies of teenage mothers is twice as high as it is for babies of women between the ages of 21 and 24. So Azaria hit on that one. Mothers have a greater risk of death, premature, and low birth weight babies. So we heard that from McKenna. So those would be the 2 couple reasons that you should have on your document. Okay. Number 2. What are 4 reasons for unwanted teenage pregnancy? So what did we talk about are the 4 reasons for unwanted teenage pregnancy? Do you remember? What did we talk about?
Either one of them could die from birth.
Yeah, that was question 1. I'll give you a hint. One of the reasons is a financial problem.
A social problem, maybe.
Peer pressure.
Missing out on dating, maybe we could throw that in for that.
Oh,
So right
education. Education, maybe.
Okay, good. Yes. So financial problem, lack of schooling, missing out on dating. Anything else? That's 3.
Media.
Nope, that's for my next question.
Peer pressure.
Missing out on adolescence and rushing into marriage. So let me say those again. The 4 reasons for unwanted teenage pregnancy could be that teens miss out on their adolescence, financial problems, lack of schooling, rushing into marriage, and missing out on dating. Okay, next question. How does the media mislead teenagers about sexual activity?
Well, because like all the people that post things or ads or commercials, sometimes they misinterpret it because they think it's cool because other people are doing it online.
Or they think other people are. Okay. Anybody else have a thought about that? How does Go ahead, Sylvia. I'm sorry.
Thank you. The media can be misleading about sexual activity because they'll have many commercials about having kids, and it always shows parents smiling with their kid, with their babies, but that's not the truth at all, and that pregnancies and being pregnant can be hard. So they kind of just show the joys of having a kid instead of the downfall.
Okay, very good. So something along the lines, I'm going to kind of take what McKenna and Sylvia said and jam them together. So TV and movies often show sex as carefree, like you never get an STD, it never causes a teenage pregnancy. You know, they don't ever show the after effects or how it broke up a relationship or how now there's really intense feelings and how whoever's in the relationship is having some jealous emotions. You know, we don't ever see that side of it. It's all like hunky-dory, everything's perfect, nothing, caused the relationship to waver or anything like that. And they make it kind of like a sophisticated activity. Like if you don't do it, then you're not as sophisticated as other people, and the negative consequences that I already touched on. Okay, so I'll show you my slide right now. Let me go back. Oopsie. And it's basically what I just went over with you. So if you didn't get a bunch of these, just try to look at it quickly and take a couple thoughts and ideas. But, you know, we did go over it as a class. I read my answers to you, and now I'm showing them to you. So you should be able to have something down on your paper to be able to turn in. And I would suggest you do it now, you know, just because we have time to do that. So just make sure that. What's up?
Like, what'd you say? Assignment, the journal thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
These answers?
Yep. So turn in that journal assignment in Google Classroom under where it says journal in the new quarter. Azaria, did you find that?
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay, well, let me know when you find it, would you please?
I have something to say about that, how you said in the beginning about problem solving and stuff. You can brainstorm ideas to solve the problem.
Yes, that's part of the problem solving. Excellent. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so get that turned in, and then we're going to talk about when a teen is pregnant. And these are the 3 points that I'm going to be showing you on the slides, is how a pregnant teenager gets counseling and medical help, what choices a pregnant teen must make, and then how a pregnant teen finds out about resources. So that's what we're tackling next. And again, with notes, you know, these are your notes to write them. You can use them on the assessment. If we ever get back into school, anything that you hand write, you can use on the test. But in virtual land, I can't control that. So my suggestion to you is to be honest about testing and don't Google. But you can use any of the notes that I've given you or provided you along the way to help in, you know, doing well on that assessment. Okay, and remember the one for teenage pregnancy is coming up, so it might be a good idea for you just to jot some things down as we go through it today and discuss these 3 points when it comes to teen pregnancy. Okay. All right, so moving on here. Does anyone know what the answer to today's warm-up question, like what's the first thing that a teenager or any female that's pregnant is going to notice first?
Well, maybe they'll notice maybe a change in appetite, or like they have some sicknesses that they keep on having, or a missed period or something.
Okay, so that's the one I was looking for. Thank you, McKenna. So when you're pregnant, you do miss a period. Okay, so basically, when you're pregnant, you do not have a period for the 9 months of pregnancy or 40 weeks, however you look at it. Some women do have a period throughout their pregnancy, and that might be normal for them. But if there is blood present and you are pregnant, it's not always a good sign, okay? But there are women that go throughout their pregnancy that do have spotting throughout the pregnancy, and that's something that they would take to their doctor, and their doctor would discuss it and, you know, either chalk it up to that's kind of how you and your body is dealing with pregnancy, or I'm concerned, let's do some tests, let's figure out why you're bleeding or spotting during the pregnancy.
Or it could be miscarriage too. Bleeding could also cause miscarriages.
Exactly. I was just going to blurt that out when you jumped in. So that is also one of the first signs of a miscarriage, is bleeding. Okay. But as you know, whenever you become pregnant, it's not something that you have to jump to that conclusion immediately, but you do need to get medical assistance very quickly. And, you know, if it's a miscarriage, just know that 90% of all women in the United States will miscarry one of their pregnancies. Okay, so it's not uncommon. There's nothing that you did to cause that miscarriage. Sometimes your body just recognizes that something's not right and is quick to discard it. Okay. But I had a miscarriage once and I didn't do anything to cause it. And I found out I was pregnant, and within a week, I found out that I lost the baby. So I wasn't attached. I didn't, get all involved in it. I just found out, and boom, I found out I wasn't. But there are some women that will have a miscarriage in the second and third trimester, and that's when it's more significant, where they will probably have to undergo labor and delivery, and they will give birth to what we call a stillborn. And that is a child that is dead during the labor and delivery. And unfortunately, there's no special gift at the end. They will have funeral services for that child, and they will have a burial. Okay. But for like my miscarriage, there was nothing to do that with. There wasn't enough that had developed during that first trimester that I had to do anything along those lines. But when you're in your second and third trimester, that's when those things have to be attended to in that way. Okay. Is there any questions on that with miscarriage or when you're pregnant? Okay.
After you have a miscarriage, don't they call the next baby you have the rainbow baby usually?
Oh, I've not heard that. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have information on rainbow baby.
Yes, McKenna, that is what it's called, and that's what people know as. I only know because my daughter had a miscarriage last year. So,
and she called it a rainbow baby?
A rainbow baby, yeah. I don't know how that all started, but there's all kinds of information and stuff you can buy online and stuff with that. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So another thing that females will use to find out whether they're pregnant or not is a pregnancy test, where they go to the doctor, or not go, they go to the pharmacy or Meijer or whatever and pick up a pregnancy test, and they urinate on a stick, and then that is going to pick up the hormone that's developed when you're pregnant, and that will turn that stick a color, and usually that's going to indicate whether you're pregnant or not. A doctor's appointment is another option, which you should always do when you're pregnant, no fail, is go to the doctor and be checked. And what they're going to do is they're going to ask you when your last menstrual cycle was, and they're going to, go give you a blood test, go through all the different things when it comes to becoming pregnant, set up appointment times, because you'll go to the doctor once a month at first, and then it will get more visits as you get into your pregnancy. Some common symptoms of pregnancy that you might experience are frequent urination, sore breasts, tiredness, and then McKenna mentioned that morning sickness. Again, because your body is developing a baby and the hormones are super high, that can cause some uncomfortableness, and the body, with having such high hormone levels, can kind of make you sick a little bit. And so you might have morning sickness during the first trimester. Some women might experience it longer than that. I've known people that experience all through their pregnancy. I was one person that never had any morning sickness for any of my kids. So I don't, that's just me. You kind of look at it through, sometimes you can look at your mom and ask your mom, did you have morning sickness? What was your experience with pregnancy? And sometimes the pregnancies can be similar. I mean, obviously you're two different people, but you are made from the same cloth. So there may be some similarities that you might be able to ask your mom and see if maybe those things might happen to you. Okay, so that's what I just went over with you is the first.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know this is a little bit, but it has to do with that kind of, but when somebody's pregnant, can they also, like, if they have to have surgery for something else, can they have surgery during pregnancy?
Yes. Yep. but it's going to have to be, that's a case by case, depending on what kind of surgery it is, what they have to do, what kind of medications they have to use. I mean, that's something that, I can't really speak to because that's going to be on a case by case basis. Okay. All right. So moving on. Getting help. So teenagers will feel very overwhelmed and anxious about telling anyone. Parents may be shocked at first and be more supportive than the teen expects. So, there's lots of things or lots of people you can reach out to, the father, parent, your parents. Maybe you have a close relative that, like I have a aunt that's 20 years younger than my dad. So basically she was sort of like a sibling growing up, and I might feel closer to her, talking to her about, what's going on with me and that I'm pregnant, and maybe get some advice that way, or at least a sounding board that, I could get some advice. And then friends, just for support and somebody to be there. Maybe you want to take them with you to tell your parents, and that's a support system for you. Okay, so finding a counselor. So counselors help teens talk about their problems. They explain various options teens may want to consider. They can help find resources that provide special services. Special services include arranging for pregnant teenagers to stay in school. Counselors also advise on cost of available services. They know where and how to find them. They are often government or private funds available for teens who cannot pay the full cost of medical care and delivery. And services by the counselor are considered confidential, so no one has to know. I'm going to show you this link on WIC. WIC stands for Women, Infant, and Children. So, whoops, let me go to this. Okay, so WIC is for low income, nutritionally at risk. So this service is for pregnant women through pregnancy and up to 6 weeks after birth or after pregnancy ends. Breastfeeding mothers up to infant's first birthday. Non-breastfeeding postpartum women up to 6 months after birth of an infant or after pregnancy ends. Infants up to their first birthday. WIC serves 53% of all infants born in the United States, and children up to their 5th birthday. So benefits are that they supplemental nutritional food. So you can go to a WIC organization and get nutritional food. They offer educational and counseling at their clinic, and they do screening and referrals to other health, welfare, and social services. So they kind of help you with nutrition and other services that you may need. So I just wanted you to know that there is a facility like that out there to help young moms or moms that are having difficulty with getting everything that their child needs at infancy. Okay, so now we're going to look at 3 options for a teenager that gets pregnant. So the baby is given up for adoption. That's an option. The mother and father may marry and raise the child together. A teenager decides to raise the baby on their own, and there's something called a Safe Delivery Act. Has anyone ever heard of that? A Safe Delivery Act? Okay. So let me go to the link so I can show it to you. Okay. So the state delivery is a law which allows a parent or parents to safely and legally surrender their newborn no more than 3 days old. A newborn may be given to a uniformed employee who is inside and on duty at any hospital, fire department, police station, or to an emergency medical technician or paramedic by calling 911. The newborn will be placed for adoption. This program is safe, legal, and confidential. Okay, so this is to prevent young teenage mothers from giving birth and then just leaving their child, or as back in the olden days, putting it in a basket and leaving it on a doorstep kind of thing. Okay. So this is something that teenagers can do. It's completely anonymous. They're not going to ask anything. They're not going to ask your name or anything like that. You can surrender your child no more than 3 days old, and it will be placed for adoption. Okay. It's called the Safe Delivery Act. Does anyone need any more information? Okay. So know that that is available to anyone that chooses to not have their child. And, you know, back when I was going through college and I was younger, you know, we would hear of mothers having their baby and leaving them wrapped up or throwing them away, which is, something we don't want to think of. But, teenagers become desperate and they don't want people to know, A, that they are pregnant, B, that they had a baby. And it's a way of covering things up. And sometimes you think, well, how would you not know if someone was pregnant? Well, there are people that can hide it and do a good job at it, and then, have their baby, and, they have found babies in garbage cans because young teenagers or young moms don't want that responsibility, and they do something that's a rash decision, but, they're kind of frailing on what to do and kind of coming up with a zero options. Okay. So we're going to look at that a little bit further on the adoption part. So, adoption means giving up a child for someone else to raise. Teens may choose adoption if they know they are unprepared for the enormous emotional, financial responsibility of supporting and caring for a child. Teenagers are much less likely to choose adoption than people in their 20s. This is partially because it takes great strength, love, and maturity to recognize and accept that adoption may be the best choice for the child. It is also because teenagers have limited life experiences. They're not yet able to anticipate the real and difficult circumstances teen parents often face. It is easier to think about only the happy and the satisfying aspects of parenthood. Teens may believe they will be good parents without knowing what parenting is really all about. So thinking of the baby's future, deciding to give a baby to someone else to raise is a very hard decision to make. It means putting the baby's needs first. Both biological parents often feel a strong sense of loss after the child is adopted. It is comforting, however, to know that the child will be given the kind of life the parents would like to provide, but are unable to give. When an adoption occurs through an approved agency, people who adopt are carefully screened. All adoptions must go through a state court. The adoptive family is investigated to ensure they will provide a good home and loving care. They must be financially secure and emotionally and physically able to care for a child. There is a long list of parents waiting to adopt infants. 1 in 6 couples in the United States cannot have a child of their own. 1 in 6. Rights of the father. Both parents must sign the adoption papers. Unmarried fathers also have a right to play a part in this decision. Laws vary from state to state, but most state courts require either father's signature on the release forms or legal proof that effort has been made to find him. A specified time is allowed in which the father must come forward if he doesn't want the child adopted. In some cases, the father is given responsibility to raise the child. Okay. So, there are different types of adoption. There's open and closed. And I'm going to give you a little project before we leave today on that. I'm trying to wrestle with this big animal on my lap. Okay. All right. So I have a little project that we're gonna do, but I want to finish out the Google Slides. So let me do that, and then we'll get more involved with the adoption piece. Okay. Because there's more to talk about with that one. Okay, so marriage. You're not mature enough to handle the stresses of parenthood, emotional problems of being parents and children. Sometimes does result in neglect or abuse of the child because you're not, you are still growing and learning as young adults and learning, how to handle different situations and feelings and emotions. It should begin on a secure base of mutual responsibility and financial security. And marriage of people under 18 are 4 times more likely to end in divorce. So there's that. Some questions that you might want to ask yourself are you both willing to share responsibilities of parenthood when you're in marriage? Can you both finish high school? Who will support you while you're completing your education? Do you have work experience? What kind of jobs can you find following high school? What kind of housing can you afford? How will you pay for needed household items and furnishings, couch, appliances, beds, dressers, all those things? Are you prepared to deal with health emergencies? What will you do about childcare? How do your parents feel about you getting married? So there's, just some things to consider and to think about when you are possibly considering marriage. And then the last one is single parenthood. So just new things to learn and so many new problems to deal with. Needs versus priorities. So housing, childcare, schooling, jobs, social life. You got to prioritize and figure out what's the most important thing at this point, being a parent for the first time. Okay. So I have 3 more questions for your journal, and I can do one of 2 things. I can take this and copy it into Google Classroom, which might be best. And I'll put it here. Oh, sugars, hang tight. Dee-dee-dee. And I'll have you answer these questions on this Google Doc, or you can make your own and turn it in. It's completely up to you what your preference is. Okay, now I can add it. All right, here it is, guys. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure if we get to this today or not. Okay, so this one is journal end of Google Slides 1028. So I need you to go to that and open it and then answer those questions. I can put them up on the screen if it helps. But they are, what are the 3 options a pregnant teen can consider? What is an independent adoption, open adoption, and formal adoption? And what are the chances that a teenage marriage will succeed? And as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that I need for question 2, it looks like I'm going to have you hold on that one because we haven't talked about that one yet. Independent, open, and informal. So I guess what I'm saying is do 1 and 3 right now. Don't turn it in though, because we still have to answer question 2, and that's coming up, what I'm going to end the class with. So Azaria, did I jumble that all up, or does that make any sense?
I thought you said we're doing a project, but are you not going to probably get to that today?
Hold on, I'm asking Azaria a question really quick.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. We do 1 and 3 right now, and then you're gonna do 2 with us, and then we turn it at the end of class. Well,
Probably number 2 we'll do later.
okay.
So what McKenna was talking about, I'm gonna do here right at the end. And then when we come back on Monday, I'll have the little project you should have done. And then we'll be able to answer this number 2 question on Monday.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
but this thing is due tomorrow.
The journal question, I'll push that back, Tanner. Thank you for telling me.
Okay.
You are absolutely correct on that. Keep me honest, everyone. Keep me honest. All right, so I'm going to, obviously it's not 110 points either. So I'm going to push this back. Oh my gosh, next week's November already? Holy cannolis. Okay, so I've changed it, Tanner and everybody, to the 2nd for the questions for the Google Slides. And then I do want to explain the assignment. I'll explain it, and then how about 2 options? Number 1, I'm going to explain it. If you want to get it done early, you can. 2, if you want to wait till Monday, I'll give us class time to work on it. So there's that option, okay? So I'm going to talk about it right now. And hopefully you understood the options, and I'll double check.
And the third option is to do it by yourself before it's due.
Well, that would be the first option I recommended already, but okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so what you do is you just open this up. I believe I already made you a copy. There are directions, but it says read the quote and explain what the author may have meant when they wrote the quote pictured to the right. So here's your quote. Family is more than blood. So there's a sentence starter. So the sentence starter says, I believe the meaning of this quote is, and then you just finish what you think the quote means. Okay? Pretty simple. Then you go to the next one and it says, explore this article. So this is a link about the requirements for families seeking to adopt. After reading the article, write a short paragraph about what you found interesting about the requirements needed to adopt. So here's your sentence starter. Some interesting ideas from this article include, and then you'll write your little paragraph. And then for explain, you're going to watch this video. So here's the link that defines both open and closed adoption, and write a summary that explains the difference between open and closed. So here's your sentence starter. The difference between open and closed adoption include, and you finish it. Is this making sense? Azaria?
Yes.
Oh, I think I know
Yeah,
what
it's making
open
sense so
adoption
far.
is. I think I know what open adoption is.
Okay, so watch the video and then you'll have to see if that compares with what they say. Okay, so let me finish this out. So you're going to watch this video link below. So here's the two links. One is from a birth mother who placed her child for adoption, and the other is a parent who adopted their son from foster care. So you're going to write a paragraph about what stood out to you when watching these videos. So here's your sentence starter. What stood out to me while watching these videos was, and it has to be a paragraph. And the last thing, evaluate the challenges and benefits that result from adoption. So consider how adopting affects the child, the biological parents, and the adoptive parents and their families. Write your evaluation paragraph below. So adoption is a process that comes from many benefits, but also many challenges. And you'll write a paragraph about that. Any questions on when we're going to work on this? So you can get it done early if you want and come to class Monday with it done. Or you can say, you know, it's Halloween weekend. I'm not going to add any more to my plate. I'm going to come to class on Monday and Miss Epka is going to talk about it again and we're going to have class time to work on it. Okay, so anybody have questions about what I just said?
I got 3. First of all, why? Second of all, why is it so hard? And third of all, why do we have to write so many paragraphs?
Because you're in high school, and that's what high school is about.
That's a horrible excuse.
I love you, Tanner.
Please don't say it like that.
Okay, so it is time for you guys to head out. So hopefully it made sense. You can stick around if you have any more questions you want to ask me personally or individually. I am here, or I have office hours. What's today? Wednesday. I have office hours tomorrow from 2 to 3 and Friday from 11 to 12. So you can always come back and ask anything that you need clarification on. But other than that, go ahead, McKenna.
Well, I'll ask you after some people leave.
All right, that's fine. All right, so you guys are out of here. Have a good one and happy Halloween to those that celebrate it.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was for that story thing, is it so I did the slides, but I didn't finish the whole page of the
Yep, that's fine. Give me what you got done, okay?
but can I turn it in at the end of the day once I finish the page at least?
Yes, absolutely.
And then my other question is, did we just talk, so on Monday, what did we did we talk about the story thing again?
Yes. And I have a YouTube video that you can go and you can watch that.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yep, bye. Are we good, Grace? You want to stick around or what?
I'm most likely going to stick around. I missed most of class because I was doing the SAT.
Okay, well, I have another class in 3 minutes. So my suggestion to you is to go back and watch the YouTube channel.
All right.
Okay, and I'll have that posted later today. Takes a little bit for the video to upload.
All right.
All right. You have today to watch it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday you should have had watched it by then.
All right.
All right. Check you later.
Yep.
Bye. Oh boy. Miss Gray, do you have anything for me?
No, I'm all set. I'll go ahead and get this last one out.
Uh-oh, someone's at the door.
Yeah. They'll get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't get this person out. I can't kick Donovan out.
Oh, I can.
Okay.
I can. Yep,
Okay,
I'll
good.
kick them out. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
See ya.
See ya.